It is my pleasure to welcome the Director General of the European Broadcasting Union, Noel Curran.
Hello, everybody. I'm just going to say a few words, welcome you all. First off, I know you're all really grateful that we deliberately chose such a slow news day to host the event. So I expect the room to kind of slowly empty as the day goes on. But this is a really important event for us. I want to thank everybody involved in the organisation of it. I particularly want to thank the BBC, BBC News and BBC Scotland for their organisation, but also for the wonderful event that we had last night in that stunning venue in the National Museum. For us, this is a really core event. It's news is core to what we do. It defines our members, defines public service media, as I know it defines so many of you. We've a lot to talk about. I think the 4 pillars that Amy outlined are really important within the context of what has happened since we met in Amsterdam. And just think about the last 12 months. Consolidation, Disney, 21st century, AT&T, Comcast and Sky. In many respects, as our industry grows, in other respects, it's getting smaller. And I think that's a core background. We've seen Apple this year hit the $1 trillion mark. And by the end of the year, in the last 6 months, Netflix will have increased subscriptions by probably 16 million. We've also seen technology move ever faster, particularly in AI and voice. And also, as we move forwards, we're also moving backwards. And I think we can say that the world is a less safe place for journalists than it was 12 months ago. So I think all of that context, all of that background, the 4 pillars are absolutely appropriate and important for discussing. I also think something else has happened in the last 12 months, and this is something that may come into the discussions, but will certainly come into the discussions outside of this room, because this room is about more than just what is said up here. It's also about the interactions. It's also about the contexts that are made, the context and the conversations. And I think what we have seen in the last 12 months is, faced with a common threat, media organizations, both public service and commercial, are coming together more and more. And I don't think we should exaggerate this, but I think we should recognize it. It is happening. It's happening in terms of drama co-production in the Nordic region and in some of the big countries, Italy, Germany, France. It's happening in the UK in terms of the investment in Freeview and the move towards making that a fully hybrid platform. In France, we had the Salto VOD platform, again, an alliance. We have another online platform alliance in Norway. We have, in Germany, we've had an agreement between publishers and broadcasters. So a lot of conversations and connections and cooperations are taking place that probably we wouldn't have even thought of 4 or 5 years ago. And when I spoke to you all in Amsterdam last year, I made a point of saying that the EBU is open for partnership. And we've tried to follow through on that in the last year. We've worked with many people in this room on the fake news initiative. We have worked with AFP and Reporters Sans Frontières on a journalistic trust initiative. We are currently part of a commercial public service group looking at an EU proposal on 5G. We've worked on lobbying on things like transparency, protection of sources, the whistleblower initiative. We've actually worked with the commercial sector and tried to find common ground in terms of common ground with people who believe in journalism, people who believe in investing in content. And I want to say again that for me, this is the start of something for us. We are very open to having these discussions. We will have a new strategy at the EBU announced later this year, and partnership, cooperation amongst our members, amongst public service media, but also with the commercial sector is increasingly an important part of that. We also are reaffirming in this that news is at the core and at the heart of what we do, completely. And we are looking at ways of improving, investing in the news exchange. We're looking at our Eurovision News special events, who I hope you will talk to outside, reinvesting, reshaping that. We're looking at investing more and bringing a network together on investigative journalism. And we're also looking at doing research, research like the report that will be published today on 50 ways to make it better, a really excellent, strong report. So again, but partnership amongst ourselves and partnership with all of you in this room is a really important element of that strategy. So I want to welcome you all. I have to say that the strategy is not the only new thing in the EBU. At the moment, we have a new incoming president, and he is someone who will feel totally at home in this room, someone who has worked as journalist editor, someone who has news in his DNA, and I'm very happy to welcome onto the stage Tony Hall, Director General of the BBC.